button this time.
You did. Good.
Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome back. We're on for another live edition of Sci-Fi Model Action. Our group chat here today, we've got a great bunch of people with us like usual. We've got some people here from the States and some people from overseas, so we're happy to get things going here. I'm going to start off with my introductions here first, and we'll start off at my left. And Baba, how you doing today, Baba?
All right, how about yourselves today? Had a phone calls coming in, huh?
Somebody's got.
Somebody, I don't know who.
Okay. Well, just here, I got a few questions, and I'll get to those later on when the question time comes around.
Okay, Baba, we'll come back to you in a little bit. And up next, we've got Dave Pashtag. How you doing today, Dave?
Hey, boy, how you doing? I'm Dave Pashad from Grand City, Illinois, and here today, finally able to make one for a little bit now, so glad to be here.
Glad to have you on today, Dave. And we've got Jamie Shiner all the way from the UK with us today. How you doing today, Jamie? Glad to see you.
Hi, Boyd. I'm working great. I'm great to be here with you and the guys. It takes me some time to get here with work and stuff, but I'm glad to be here and loads of questions for you.
Okay, Jamie. We'll come back to you in a little bit. And we've got John with us today. How you doing today, John?
I'm good, Boyd, and you and everybody else. Hope you're having a good day.
Yep.
Working on the Stinger, and I'll show you all about it when we get there.
Okay. Well, we've got another John.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't know your last name, John, but go ahead, introduce yourself.
My bad.
Hi everybody, I'm John. Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
We can hear you fine.
I'm from the UK. I've spoke to most of the people here on the Google Plus website. I've probably commented on your models and you've probably commented on mine. I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you here today, John. And that was John Swaller a minute ago that introduced himself. And
My bad. My bad.
yeah, that's okay, John. John's always you can always tell John because every hangout he comes to, he's building models. That's what we like to see here. He's busy on his bench. So we'll get to see a little bit of that Stinger model from Sequest that he's been working on here in a little bit. And we've got Shannon Freeman with us today. How you doing, Shannon?
I'm doing okay. I'm also a little busy today.
Okay, Shannon. And we've got Tag Gray with us. How you doing today, Tag?
I'm doing good. Sunny California. Hope everybody else has got good weather, but glad to be here.
Glad to have you, Tag. And our resident electronics specialist, Ralph Tenaglia, is with us here today to answer questions about his circuits and control boards. How you doing today, Ralph?
I'm doing great. Thank you, guys. Glad to be here and see if I can help in any way, shape, or form.
Glad to have you, Ralph. And I'm Boyd Crompton. I'm the host of this circus, and I'm glad to be here with you guys today. And we're going to start off and go back over to our left here and go back to Baba. He said he had a couple of questions, and maybe he can talk a little bit about what he's been working on lately, too. How you doing today, Baba?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I found the part that I was missing for my 1,000 scale Enterprise, and I'm going to light it, and the holes were easy for just about everything except for along the saucer here. So I don't have a printer, and I couldn't I couldn't copy my decal sheet to get the windows in. So I just kind of traced them, and then I tried to put it on there, and you're not going to be able to see the holes on the sides, but they're pretty sloppy, and I'm going to have to putty it, or I'm thinking I'm just going to cut out the sides and maybe use some styrene and be able to get some better detail with the windows over there. I don't know if anybody else has built this model. I'm sure somebody here has. And what's the best way of cutting these little tiny holes on this saucer section without, how should I say, screwing it up as much as I did. Now that I screwed it up, should I cut these out and maybe try to put styrene in there and try to get, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the 1/1000 scale refit?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, does anybody want to tackle that question?
I haven't worked on it myself yet.
I haven't done that one, but I think maybe just puttying the holes back up and you're drilling it with a pin vise. Are you trying to use
one of these?
Yeah, what size drill bit are you using for that?
Well, I used a really small one at first, and then I tried to get a little bit larger with it. And I used white paper, and as I was drilling through the white paper, my markings kind of faded away because I used pencil. I probably should have used a pen or marker lines, and then so it kind of went like this in certain areas, the windows, and so that messed it up a little bit. I thought, the little tiny ones would be easier to do than the longer ones in that along the saucer section, but it turned out I messed up the small holes more than the bigger holes, if you catch what I'm trying to say.
In my experience, when you've come to things like that, the best bet I think would be use the putty but go from the inside. So you put it from the inside and push it through, and then sand it down, and then re-drill your holes.
Okay. It's such a small thing that it's I'm afraid that it'd be easier if it was a bigger model, but it is so small that mess up a little bit, and I'm going to see it. Especially it's going to be my first lit up kit. So.
Yeah, it's
always battle damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too bad somebody doesn't make a photo etch.
They do.
They do, and I didn't get it. It was like $45 or something like that. There is a photo etch kit for.
It's 27. Paragraphics has a photo etch set that has the templates. Just like he came out with the 1000 scale Reliant, like his other Reliant, it has templates to drill the holes. So you can.
Okay. Well, it's a kit that's like the one they did for the 1537 scale.
Exactly.
Okay. That'll make that a lot easier.
Right,
I was going to say, Bob, what was there a problem with the lines as far as keeping them straight going across? Or
yeah, I messed it up going straight. I went down a little bit and up a little bit. It slid. It was hard to keep this thing going.
Okay. Well, one little trick that I found that works just to getting the shape of them, of course, is a little bit of work, but to keep them straight. One of the things that I found that works for that is you use some of that. You guys remember those old label making things that they used to make? Well, they still make them. The little thing you rotate the disc on it to get to the letter that you want, and then
Dymo.
Okay, that tape that stuff comes with. It's like a plastic kind of a tape or whatever it is.
Right.
You can get some of that stuff and you put it on your model, and it makes a nice hard edge right there, like it sticks up. So you got a place where you can rest your drill on it, and that way when you go across, you're going to make a straight line at least. You know what I mean? It still doesn't do anything for your spacing, but you have to kind of figure that out. But at least you'll make a straight line to start with on your windows, and that also works really good for doing scribing. If you lose a line of detail on your model, like on the saucer or the secondary hull or something like that, you can put that on there, and then your scribe can rest right against that, and when you move it, it's not going to go crooked or slip. You know what I mean? So I keep that stuff around here for that. It works really good.
I was going to try to keep the sensor line from the decal sheet and match it up with the holes, but that might be kind of tough, dude. People, when you put some of the decals on, I'm not going to use all the decals from this model kit, but when you light them up, is it okay to drill through the decals that you put on the model through the window holes? Sure. Yeah.
In fact, on the big 350 kit, when you put the decal on, you're going to cover up the windows, So the way I do mine is I'll let the decal dry, and get nice and it turns kind of like almost brittle. So after it's dry, after a couple of days, you can just go in there and touch it, and like with a hobby knife or something, or a little bit of medium-sized drill bit, and just kind of move it around in there, and it'll clean that excess decal film right off. And then I'll go back and do my canopy glue to fill the holes after I clean all that out of there.
Okay, cool. And then I wondered if you heard about there's a rumor out there that AMT and Polar Lights aren't going to be making Star Trek model kits anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, if somebody else picks it up, which I'm sure they will, I've talked about this before. It's really no hard feelings on my part. I don't think AMT has done enough with the line of Star Trek models. They've been bringing out these little bitty cadet series ships or whatever, but you know, they put out these polls and everything asking people what they want, and we constantly tell them, okay, we want the 350 Reliant or Katinga or some of these other kits and everything, and they're anybody else have an opinion on that? But I mean, that, you know, we've talked about that before, but
Well, they're on a repop right now of everything. Anything that hasn't been out for a while, they're like just repopping stuff just to me, just to make money. You know what I mean?
It's a sign, it's a sign of financial
they don't even
problems.
improve the old kits. They just repop them. All you're getting is a new box and a new set of decals, pretty much.
Well, they throw a stand in there now.
Yeah. Sometimes, not on all of them. They don't come with a new stand. Some of those cadet models don't come with stands at all.
No, they don't.
You know, that's another thing too. Now that they got that 1000 Reliant and it's all done 3D digital, me and Jerry were talking about that. It would be so easy for them to make a 350 scale now, Reliant, because everything's already in the computer.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? To make
Yep.
a mold. It wouldn't take all the detail work. It's already pretty much done. They would just have to resize it. But it's just a matter of tooling then. You know, they would have to have somebody make the mold and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So like, heck, if they want to give it up, let somebody like Mobius or somebody have the line, and I'm guaranteed that Mobius would do I love the Mobius model kits, and Mobius tends to do some of the bigger scale stuff too. You know, they don't mind doing bigger models, so
right.
I think it'd be great.
I think the trouble with a lot of the AMT kits is, even though they've revamped a lot of the kits, you still have the basic problems with a lot of the AMT kits. You start building the models, and you have to make so many adjustments to the fits to make the models actually fit. And when you try, you get them painted up and you put them together, they just won't. I'll give you an example: the Klingon Bird of Prey, the new revamped version. The older version is better. It fits better. The new version taken out, it just doesn't go together properly. When you've got the two silver connecting bits on, and then you try to fit the base together, it just won't. It's not level. It just won't come together. And you have to do some filing and sanding and filling to get it to go. And that's what I think a lot of the faith of the AMT kits is losing, because you're having big problems with their kits.
Yeah. Well, AMT kits have always been known to be modelers' kits. In other words, you got to be a modeler to work on them. Jeremy and here were just, if you guys saw it or not, we're just working on that little GTO car model of his, and we had all kinds of trouble with that too, getting that to fit right, and you know, the body didn't want to sit right, like we had to modify the hubs on the wheels because they were sticking out way too far. You couldn't even get the body to drop down on it. And I mean, all kinds of stuff like that. AMT's been known for that for years, you know. And like Dave said, all they do is repop their old stuff. And most of the new kits they're coming out with for Star Trek now are, you know, small little cadet series kits or whatever. That frankly, they just don't interest me. I don't want to work on a model that's that small, you know.
Give us 350 size. What big ones?
You know, but yeah. Maybe it'll be for the good, you know. Maybe we'll get something better out of it in the long run. So
I sure hope so. It's kind of worrisome though, no matter what.
If you are listening, 350 Katinga for me, and a Reliant.
And the Reliant, but don't worry, Bob. Star Trek is extremely popular. If they give it up, somebody's going to pick it up. I guarantee you that. There won't be.
How about a 350 Voyager?
Yeah. But we won't be without Star Trek kits for long if they do give it up. So,
No,
okay, did you have any other questions, Baba, or can I move on to Dave?
Are you going to show your BSG 75? Did it come in yet?
It hasn't got here yet, but you can be assured that I'll show it a whole bunch. We're going to show a whole build-up on the channel when we start working on it.
Great.
I can't wait to see that, too, because the videos and pictures of it I've seen of the kit, it just looks beautiful. The parts look really clean and really nice, so that should be pretty cool.
Cool.
Okay, let's talk to Dave real quick and see what he's got going on.
Well, as you know, I finished my B9, and what I've been working on is the G7 Battlecruiser 650 scale.
Can you guys see Dave? All I'm seeing is his icon.
He pops in and out sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not seeing. I'm hearing you fine, but I'm only seeing your icon right now, Dave.
I get a black screen.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah, the picture's frozen on the little icon, the little thumbnail.
He's
when you click on him, it's black.
I get a black screen too, but my black screen looks upside down.
Turn your monitor around.
Okay.
Try lowering my bandwidth in it.
We just got a comment from John Petrie that was here a minute ago. He lost his connection, so he's going to try to get back in, but I think the room filled back up, so... well, there's Dave again.
Is that any better?
I got you now. I can see you now, Dave.
There you go.
Okay. Well, I was working on my 650 Klingon Battlecruiser.
Oh, it looks good.
I decided I was only going to interference in the background here. I was only going to light the bulb. I decided and keep it pretty much, you know, kind of like the studio model, with the green and the light gray. And I've got about 5 SMDs right now. They're covered, but all the windows will light up. I didn't put a SMD in the front. What I did is, because, you know, before it really wasn't a torpedo launcher, and what I did is I had one of those resin pieces for the Katinga left over, and I saw that I'll put that in there, and just the light from the inside just barely makes it glow red, so it looks kind of good where it's just not, you know, streaming out of there. And I decided to go with that and just light it that way. I'm going to hang it around my TOS with my other one, but I'm going to use one of these coin batteries. I'm only running like 5 SMDs.
Oh, okay.
And I change the resistors on them. And I have a holder that I'm going to use. And it actually lasts quite long.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Those SMDs are really efficient.
Yeah, and so that's what I've been working on. Like I say, just something a little simple, and I'm going to make it where the top all magnets where I can take it off, you know, to change a battery if need be, and just some lights in the front and finish it up, and it should be good to go.
Yeah, well, you don't need any lights in the back half of that model. In fact, the original studio model, they never even lit it. It was just windows that were painted on.
And I've seen people who put the impulse engines back there, or they put the green down there, you know, when they reused the model, and I didn't want to do all that. I thought, well, if nothing else, I would just make the lights in the bubble, you know, in the right there in front.
Yeah, that'll look good.
And right here in the bridge, you know, because if it was going to have lights, it would have lights there, you know, so that's what I did, and I'll leave it at that. That way I left it at a few lights, you know, and I can run it off that very small battery, and I'll probably hang it up with my TOS and my Romulan 650 Bird of Prey, so it'd be cool.
Well, you know, we always remember the ships, and if you guys, many of you guys watched the remastered original Star Trek?
Yeah, I have.
Well, you know what they're doing now. When you watch it now, they've got the Klingon ship where that part in the front there, it's actually a torpedo launcher now, like it was, I guess, on the Katinga that they showed in Star Trek: The Motion Picture. But when you go back and read Matt Jeffries' plans, his drawings for that original model, that's supposed to be like a deflector.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a little antenna inside there. So yeah, they didn't pay much attention to the detail when they redid that remastered series, but They had to make it look more cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go to Jamie and see what Jamie's got going on.
Hey guys, I've got quite a few things going on at the moment. I'm still waiting for my kit from your land for me at Enterprise A, and everything that Ralph's sent me. I'm still waiting for it. It's all going to come in one big box, so I'm waiting for that to come. There's a question on it, Boyd. I want to ask you. I sent for some of this. You may recognise it. Is it as good as the stuff you used, or is it not?
That's the water-based polytranspar.
Yeah.
It's.
Will I get the same sort of finish with it?
Fine. It'll work fine for you, Jamie. But you're going to have to probably. You're probably going to have to spray a little bit of it on there and let it dry a little bit, and then
do some more.
Put a second coat.
Yeah. I thought
It's
as much.
not quite as bold.
So it needs more coats on.
Yeah, and it won't dry as fast because it's water-based.
Right. So it's like do a coat and then just leave it.
Yeah, the lacquer-based. What you're going to want to do is, the way I was doing my masking on all the videos, is that, you know, you saw me doing it pretty fast. What you're going to have to do to make a little adjustment is, I would recommend is pick all your colors that you're going to do, like for your first pass. Like, let's say you're working on the secondary hull and on the paneling on the side. Take all the masks off that you're going to do, like say in blue, and spray all those all at once.
Yeah.
And then, you know, let it dry, and then, you know, look at it in the light or whatever if you like the coverage. If not, hit it again, and then let it dry, and then put all the masks back. And then you're going to have to
and do it, like, work through each color as I do that with this.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have some of that stuff that I bought just to experiment with it because I wanted to see, because the nice thing about it is there's like no fumes or anything.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't cover quite as well, and it doesn't dry as fast. That's
I mean, the only reason I got this was because we can't get the other stuff. They won't ship it. They can't ship it at all, and we don't do over here an iridescent paint that's any good. So it was either use the stuff I got from that other stuff I showed you, which is just the pearlescent stuff, or use this. And I'm thinking it may take me a couple of months longer to do, but I'm thinking I may as well use this instead, because the pearlescent is like, it'll just show on top, won't it? And yet this stuff will show as I turn the model.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I'm sticking with this. I mean, to buy this over there, it was like, well, I don't know, $8 or something. But to get this to me, it worked out to about 70 quid.
Wow.
Yeah.
With the shipping. It really is. It's horrendous, the shipping.
It is.
Don't you hate shipping?
Well, Jamie, one thing on that too is that I've said this before, but you want to make sure that you every time you use that stuff, you not only shake it, but you get something and stick it down in the bottle and stir it really good before you
can see it at the bottom. You see it?
You can see it all settles into the bottom.
But you do in the water-based one, you get a shaker.
Yeah, you do on the other one too, but it doesn't do the job. You still got to stir it.
Yeah, so you get something in there, get it round.
Every single time you use it. And even if you're spraying and you've got your airbrush sitting there, you're going to have to pick up your airbrush and kind of go like this every so often.
Yeah.
I was talking to Paul Olson, who painted the original model, and they actually, he had some type of in his cup, he had a thing that was called a suspension thing or something. In other words, it agitates the paint constantly.
Yeah.
So it doesn't let those pigments, settle towards the bottom.
So they do settle pretty quick then.
Yeah, they do, definitely.
Yeah, that's a bit of advice I didn't know, which I shall remember. Now I've got a bit of surprise for you guys. Remember I told you last time I was working on the Stingray. It's a model that doesn't come around very often. Well, I came into have you guys ever heard of a program called Blue Peter?
I have not.
No, I don't know what the equivalent in your country is. It's like, in this country, it was like a kids program where they made something and then it was like, this is how you do it. No, this is one we did earlier. Yeah?
Okay.
Right, so I've got a little bit of that going on. Because the Stingray was made up the model kit was made up to actually go in water. I didn't want it to go in water. I wanted it to be a static model. And what I did, this is a before one. I actually managed to grab a proper brand new kit and I picked an old second-hand one up a car boot. And what I ended up doing at the moment is, here's the base, because here is a battery compartment. So I've had to fill that because it was like a complete square block, and I want a smooth, complete surface. And here was where, this is where the propeller goes. You've actually got the disc part, which is this. That's this part. But on the actual working model, that doesn't actually spin. You've got a hole here for a little propeller that comes out and down. So when it's in the water, it actually works in the water. So I've had to fill that. Now, that came on okay, so that's worked so far. And that came out after a bit of practice, a bit of sanding, as you guys know how we love sanding. Came out like this.
Oh, nice.
So that is now the finished bottom. And that will now sit on that. So there we have a Stingray. Now the problem with this kit was, in here we had the connection piece that comes down that fits in here for the windows, has a piece of plastic coming through the middle that filled up with water that makes the submarine sink.
Right.
Well, obviously you don't need that, so that leaves you with a hole here. Now the part that has the picture of it's like a radar on top that spins. Do you remember that? That's
right.
the bit. Yeah, so that spins on top. Now that works the lever to have the fins, and the fins tilted like this. So you don't need that. So I had to customize that, and then that will now, I had to cut it down, re-cement it, stick it. Now that will fit on the back, there, where it should be. And I'm going to fill that and cement it. Now here, on the actual picture of the model, there is a red, like a red flashing light that spins on top. In the kit, it's fixed inside here. So I took the actual base, customized. I got rid of the middle bit here, and then put on that bit. So when you customize it back in here, you get the bit to come in. Now the question I want to ask you, lighting guys, because as you know, I'm a novice at this lighting, and the Enterprise is going to be a big task for me, but I'm not going to give in on it. I'm going to attempt to go for it. Now the lighting question I want to ask you guys is this: this doesn't come with a base. It doesn't come with a stand. It's got two legs, as you can see. Now would you put this on a pole at an angle and have all the wires coming down to a base, or could you have a switch on it and just have it lying on the deck like that?
I think something like that, where it'd be kind of neat to have it self-powered.
Yeah, so
there's enough room to put your battery and everything in there. It looks like.
Yeah, but if where would you get at the battery? Because this is sealed.
You sealed it up.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it would be sealed.
Well, you
so
do what
Dave is an external
rechargeable.
Say again, Boyd.
Dave Pashtag there has been building several models where he's been putting a rechargeable battery inside them.
Right.
And
So
all you have to do then is put a little jack somewhere and hide that, and then you know, when it starts to get kind of low, you just plug it in and let it charge back up.
Right. The other thing I've been working on, I don't know if you guys will recognise it. This is a customer build. This is something I'm doing for. I've just started to do this. Oh, that's floor. That's part of the floor. I decided to put some. It's like foam stuff instead of just painting the floor. Do you recognise it? Hang on. Hold that. It's not glued yet.
Bridge, ain't it?
Yeah, it's the brick.
It looks like carpet.
Yeah, it's a foam stuff, and it looks all really. It's quite a authentic look on it. It gives it that floor.
Nice.
Oh,
on the floor sections too.
Yeah. So you don't
Yeah,
see all
cool.
the joints. It's quite cool. which I thought was quite neat. So I'm working on that for somebody. And that's where I'm at the moment, I'm afraid. So, I do have a question for Ralph. Andrew, but that V9 robot board, is that available now?
Yes, it is. There's a gentleman here in Massachusetts, not too far from me, Dennis. He bought 2 of them.
So are you selling that then, Ralph?
It's not on the website, but I am selling them.
Good. Could you just quick? Could you? How much are they, if you don't mind me ask?
I believe it was 126 without shipping. You know, then you have to include the shipping.
Yeah. Well, can I talk to you about that before we go?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And the other thing was, have you got anywhere near doing the board for this? Yes.
I know. I'm still, still planning to do it, but I haven't got to it yet, Jamie.
I have got the what's now. I don't know if you can see this, guys, but I have got the actual holes ready for the SMDs. Can you see them?
Yep.
So when it's quite clever, this, because if this lights up, I'll just use this one. I tried to get the holes in central.
It's not on the website, but I am selling.
Could just quickly, could you? How much if you don't want me to ask?
I believe it's 126 without shipping. So then you have to include the shipping.
So that's what I was thinking. It took me a long time to get these holes just the right size of them both, but it worked out quite well. Have you got anywhere near doing the board for this? Yeah.
Oh, we're getting a delayed playback there.
I wonder where that's coming from.
Yeah, I love that design of that Stingray though, Jamie. It's like classic late 50s, 60s design.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, when it's finished, it's going to be awesome. Especially when I've never seen one lit up, and I want to get one of these lit up. So with the flashing thing on top, and this is why I wanted Ralph to work on a board, because I need a board for the headlights and the flashing LED thing on top.
Yeah, that would be no problem. I think we would still dealing with the sound, right, Jamie? We have to do the sound as well.
Because the idea I've got is when I've got, I don't mind telling them, Ralph, is when I've got this actually up and running and coloured in with the yellows and the blues, and I'm going to, because this hasn't got characters in, I'm going to actually dull this down so you can't actually see inside, but it lights up. Because I can't get the sort of characters for this one, and you need chairs and stuff inside it, which I'd have to make from scratch. But the sound I'm hoping to get is a sound like, you know, when it starts off, you turn a switch and then the sound comes on, anything can happen in the next half hour, and then it'll light up, and then you've got the sound of the rotor going, that distinctive sound that the Stingray rotor had, and then that'll play through, and then the second sound will be the final song, that Marina, at the very end of the series. And I think that'd be quite cool when it's on some sort of like pivoted like this. So you press the first button, and then anything can happen in the next half hour, and then the Stingray theme tune will start, and this will just light up with the thing, with the noise of this spinning, as it did in the series. And I think that might look quite cool, because I've never seen. I mean, I've seen all these models, but I've never actually seen. I've seen plenty of the Stingray models, and I've seen plenty of the people who've made them in the past. But they've always been like static, not lit, and I just wanted to have a go at doing the first one that would be sort of lit up. So I'll keep you posted on that, guys, and see how it goes.
Hey, Jamie, are you the one who got the 2 War of the World bases?
I am, yes. Would you like to see them?
I thought so, because I know you've talked to Jerry, it's just I've never talked to you. So.
Yeah, would you like to see my base?
Sure.
Okay, give me a sec.
Have you got anything done with it yet, with the War of the Worlds?
No. Do you all know Wally in America? Do you know Wally?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I decided, I've been in contact with Wally quite a lot, and I decided that, for me, it works out cheaper to get the kits from America. Right? It's just, if I want to buy the Enterprise in this country, it's $180 odd pound. If I want to buy the Enterprise in your country, it's nearly $50.
Right.
There's no comparison. So while I was at it, I've been in touch with Ralph and with Wally, and I've had all Ralph's Enterprise A boards shipped to him, and he's going to ship the whole lot over to me. But I did like Boyd's board, And I got talking to Jerry about it, and I said, I really like that board of War of the Worlds. I'm going to build that model. So Ralph has sent the War of the Worlds kit to Wally, and then everything's going to come over to me, which I'm waiting for. So I actually did like that from so it was my 50th on Wednesday, and I wanted to build myself something apart from the A, and I like Ralph's board with that model. I've actually got the model here, ready to go. I'm just waiting for the board so I can put it all together. And I wanted it to demonstrate for me for my 50th, so I literally thought, I love that War of the Worlds thing, how it lights up on top. So
yeah, ain't that cool? I got mine done.
I got it.
Yeah.
What I did with it, where at the bottom, he did this for me. I think you can see this. So you've got the base by him, the lighting control by you know who, and then here I had that put on.
Oh, look at that.
For his birthday.
Yeah.
I love vanity.
Fantastic.
Yeah. That Jerry, he's so creative.
I actually watched when you put this board on. I absolutely love this, and it's fantastic, and I can't wait to get the model on. You know how you brought your model? I'll show you this. I don't know if you've seen this. But
that's going to be priceless, Jamie.
You know how you painted yours? Your War of the Worlds? Yeah? I got this one. I don't know if you've seen this, but I think it's really wicked. There's not a lot of work to do.
Oh, nice.
The chrome one.
The plated version, right?
Yeah, this is that chrome one. I think it's just awesome.
Yeah. That'll look good on there.
There's a question I need to ask about this before I start it. I think Boyd can answer this, or Ralph can answer, or anybody can also have built this. But when you do the lighting on this with your kit, Ralph, do you need to remove these parts?
I don't have a chrome one, but on the regular plastic one, we left the material inside and act like a beautiful diffuser.
So would the chrome make a different effect than just normal, or would I have to remove it?
Yeah, you're going to have to take and get that chrome off of there on there if you're going to leave that in place, Jamie.
So I can just scrape that off basically then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for that. So what I was going to do. I was going to actually remove the whole thing and then have your light strip there and put something in front. But if I can get away with just scraping that off, that's great.
Yeah, try that first.
Yeah. Well, that looks cool.
Thank you. Well, that's where I'm up to, guys. So I'll pass you over to whoever's next.
Excellent, Jamie. Well, we're looking forward to seeing the progress on those. And we've got John here. We've got We've got 3 Johns now. And, I don't know John Petrie, and I don't remember your last name, John, but you got the robot there in the background. We'll go with you.
Oh, me?
Yeah. B9.
Yeah. Which John? I'm assuming you mean me, Boyd.
Yep.
Okay, good. All right.
You're up to bat.
Great. So a couple of things. First is, hold on. Something. I don't know what's causing that.
I don't either.
It's Andy trying to get in.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, first is Ralph. I'd be interested in your B9 too, because I still have this back here. We were talking about it last week. You know, I'm interested in starting that too. So if you have information on your board, I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I have everything. The only thing really is I have to put it up on the website, and then once Boyd is done building it, Boyd will make a final video, because I didn't make a video with him when he was like, I don't know, what would you say, like 35% assembled, because he was kind of put together just so we can show him.
Well, it's no rush. I mean, I'm working on my enterprise, so I'll definitely pick one up from you when it's ready.
Yep.
All right. So I have done a few things. I got my I did a little bit of painting.
Very nice.
So step one. Imagine this with all Aztecs, and that's how I'd like to see it. So I've got some cleanup to do, around the impulse engines. Also, these impulse engines are the corrected parts are clear cast resin. Oops.
Are those from the Don's Light and Magic?
Yes.
Mhm.
So maybe get it closer up here. They're a little bit they're a little bit different angle on the back.
Right.
I just got them masked off. I got some cleanup work to do in there. But one of the things that I got to do next is put the engine lights in there, and it's not a clear part, so they have to they kind of have to fit right between the dome and the actual exhaust there. But I was wondering, Ralph, I've got and I've got my board mounted in there too.
Right. Yeah.
I was wondering what I'd like to do, what I think I would like to do, is use 2 solid red LEDs, for the main engine lighting, and put a red flickering LED in between them, just to provide. I don't want it to be overwhelming, but I just don't want it to be like constant. And so I was going to try that. Is that going to cause any problems on that circuit if I put more LEDs on it than what's already there?
Are you talking about the impulse part?
Yes.
What will happen if you put which board do you have? The NCL or the Combo D?
We went back and forth on email. You weren't here last week. This is the one with the engines on it. I forget, but not the most recent one with the timing.
Oh, okay. You got the NCL. All right, no problem. What it is? Well, we're driving that with one output, okay, and it's calculated to drive it a certain way. Now, if you put an additional, first of all, those NCLs, they have the bicolor for the engine, right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, for the dome, it's bicolor.
Yeah.
So it's got to power the dome and the deflector dish and the impulse engines.
Well, the impulse on a separate circuit on that. You remember that, right?
I'll have to look.
Yeah. No, my point is, you have an output to drive something. If that something is orange, and you want to put something else in parallel with it, another orange, you have to use another orange LED. You see what I'm saying? Because if you use a different color, the forward voltages on them will compete with each other, and what will happen is the low voltage one will win, so the other one won't light. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, so they both need to be the same color.
Yes, if you want to double up, instead of let's say having one light off that output, you want another one, you have to have the same color, especially, John, if you don't have to put an external resistor. In other words, when you look at my diagram, if you go from one of those terminals directly to an LED, what I'm telling you is I have the current limiting resistor on board.
Yeah.
So in that case, you have to use the exact same type of LED, same color.
Okay.
All right. So, and then you can double it up. And what will happen is, it may get, because you're doubling up, you have a fixed amount of current going through, but now instead of going to one device, it's going to 2 devices. So you may see it a little bit dimmer. You may not. It all depends.
Okay. I guess what that means is I should try it.
Yes, but one of my point is I don't want you to get frustrated. Is you got to use the same colors, or you're going to say, well, it was working. Now it's not working.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Now, if I use the same colors and I do what I was talking about, where I have 2 solid and then I put 1 more flickering in there, is that gonna? Does that count as the same forward voltage? I don't know what the.
No. The flickering LED, John, you got to connect either 9 volts directly with a resistor. You do need a resistor.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure with it, but it either goes to 9 or 12. Most of them are designed for 12 volts.
Mm-hmm.
And those outputs for those deflector dish, they come out of directly from the microprocessor, which is 5 volts.
Okay.
So you won't be able to light it correctly.
All right.
Flickering.
All right. I won't try it.
But the flickering one is okay because you can just power it to your own power supply that's coming in to feed the board. You see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, except it only needs to be on when the impulse engines are on.
Ah, I see.
So I need to know somehow when that is happening.
Gotcha.
Okay, so
Well, we could do it, which would include another circuit, but I don't know if you're willing to go through all that work.
well, wait a minute. What do you mean? I mean, I haven't done anything. I mean, it's
All right. Well, what I'm saying is, let's say you want that flickering LED to come on with just the amber part of the crystal is on.
Yeah.
I could set it up so when that crystal amber comes on, it triggers a device to turn on your flickering LED at the full voltage potential.
What?
So,
I don't want to take this out. I mean, is that something you could give me, or I could?
no, it would be an additional. You don't have to take that out.
Okay. How much would it cost?
I don't know.
I mean, it's all relative, right? Well, I mean, I'm interested in trying it.
Yeah, I mean, we could. Let's see, that one we can. I know we can do it. It's just a matter of how we do it, because it just basically it's just a switch mechanism.
Here's Ralph.
No. What I'm thinking is which way we can do it so it's the most cost-effective way for John.
I know. I'm teasing.
That thing pulses. I'm just trying to think. That thing pulses. So we can't look at the pulse. We just have to, once it comes on, it stays on until it shuts itself down. So we'd have to use a micro for that, John.
Well, all right, it's not critical. I was just, you know, I have unfortunately gotten enough knowledge to be dangerous now. So.
Yeah, actually, let me think about that. We might come up with a very simple solution, and I can tell it to you. If the solution is very simple, how are you at soldering, John? Good?
Yeah, well, I had no knowledge when I started, and now I've created this mess. So.
Well, it doesn't look like a mess, but I understand your choice of words. What I can do is, if I design something that I think it's fairly easy for you to do,
yeah.
I might just tell you what components to use and go from there.
Okay, that's fine. I'm okay giving it a try. I mean, you know, the worst that could happen is it doesn't work, and I'm okay with that. So.
All right.
Fair
enough.
Yeah.
John,
yeah.
Shoot me an email. If not, I'll forget.
Okay. All right. We'll do. Yeah. So I got some. I just painted this morning, so it's you know, white has been one of the colors that I have had a true hate relationship in my life. So that's one of the things that intimidated me about starting this thing. But that turned out okay. So I am very optimistic now. So maybe foolishly, but we'll see. This thing is really a cool to look at when you start lighting it. I mean, I don't have it hooked up to a power supply, but it's amazing the amount of light, you know, with all the stuff on it, you know, just now, and you know we're you know basically a third of the way through. One thing I did see too, Boyd, is I'm trying not to watch your end of build, you know, your finale video too much because it's, you know, tearing me up because, you know, I'm here, you know. But a couple of things. First is, you know, I'd love to order a board like you guys ordered from HTA. Is that something that those guys are going to be doing more of, or is that custom ordered, or what was that?
Oh no, you just contact Jerry there, John, and he'll set you up with whatever you want.
Okay. And I'm not sure. I haven't looked far enough ahead in my engineering to know how many buttons I'm actually going to need with this board. But I think I don't need 4 buttons. Is that? I mean, is that all customizable? What they can do?
Oh, sure.
Or?
Yeah, you can set it up however you want it. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds awesome. And then one thing I didn't see you do, Boyd, is did you think about buying a plexiglass top for the thing, you know, so it actually fits on top, you know, in a case? You know,
well, that model that I built and the base and everything, it's for a customer. What he's got in mind as far as how he wanted to set that up. But we talking to Ralph there and everything too. Part of the package that you can incorporate is Ralph's actually got a remote control set up for that too. so you wouldn't even have to have any buttons. Or you could do. He's got the new touch ability. We were just talking about that on the phone the other day, where you could actually put a plexiglass case over your base and have a little panel there in the front where you can actually get only maybe a half an inch away with your finger, and it will activate the controls.
Well, that sounds awesome because the -- killer of models is dust.
Right. Well, and then also if you get a base, John, like the one I've got or the one we just did, you could put the buttons on the front of the base, and then just have your guy, whoever makes your plexiglass top, cut a little notch into it, so it's notched right there. So when you lower it down, it has the little spot there open where the buttons are.
Mm-hmm. That'd work too.
That way too.
That would work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and one more thing. From your finale video, you were talking about the color that they used on the warp drive nacelles, and you said that was Dykem?
Yeah. Well, it was interesting when I was talking to them there. That whole panel on the real model was actually made out of machined aluminum. Mm-hmm. And at machine shops, they have this material they call Dykem, and I've seen it on.
I've got a whole jug of it.
It's either purple or kind of a violet color, or it's blue.
Well, it's like a dark purple blue, and I've got a whole thing of it. I mean, you could if you just Google Dykem, Dykem, I think is the name. It's basically it's basically ink, and it will you can paint it on, and it dries in like 15 seconds, and then you can scribe whatever work you need to work on it, and then it comes off with thinner really nice. I mean, very nicely. But I was thinking, on mine is like I don't know what you did on your warp drive, but when I got there, I was thinking, heck, if that's what they use, I'll just spray it with Dykem. It's like,
yeah, I don't know how that stuff will react with plastic, but on aluminum or metal or whatever, it has a certain property. But I just mixed up the same shade of color with regular paint and painted it on there.
It works.
There's some really clear pictures of how that looks on the if you go on the web and look up the photos of the model from the Christie's auction. There's some really clear pictures of that exact color that it's supposed to be. And yeah, the reason I was talking about that, there's a lot of people who've been asking about which way that's supposed to be painted. When you look at the grills, you would assume that those wider strips would be what the light's coming out of, but it's actually exactly the opposite. It's the small narrow strips that the light comes out of, and the bigger wider strips are supposed to be painted. And it's kind of an optical illusion, like I was saying. When you light it, a whole bunch of light comes out of those little narrow strips, and makes it look like it's the narrow strips that are blocked off. You know what I mean? The thin lines. You're seeing these really thin lines when it's lit. So that's how it's supposed to be set up. There should be 5 bars from the top to the bottom when you see it lighted.
Well, that's pretty
stuff
cool.
If you really want to, if you're all geeky like we are on this Trek stuff. So.
Look, I mean, no offense, but if you're in this hangout, you got to be a geek. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We're a gathering of fellow geeks.
I am the exception that proves the rule. I just want you guys to know that.
Thanks to the Big Bang Theory, that now it's okay to be a geek.
Yeah, it's a geek now.
No. All right. So one last, and this I just got one. This is the circular dome there is kind of hard to mask in a nice shape, and so I have. I just got one of these off of eBay. Whoops, where'd it go? There we go. It's just a circle cutter. You set it to 3.1 centimeters, and it's almost exactly matched for that diameter. And you just do arcs, and that way you're not like putting a million pieces of tape around there, and that just made it an easy job. I wanted to put that out.
Here's a solution. I've mentioned it before, to do that a little bit easier, any of your circles or curves, get yourself some of that 3M vinyl masking tape, and you can get it in really small, well, like widths. Like I'm out of the really thin stuff right now, but I'll show you. This is the stuff right here. It's vinyl, and so the property of it is that you make a curve with it. Now this is thicker, so it will wrinkle, but the thinner stuff, you can get it in diameter about like this, or even thinner. This is paper-based tape here, but this stuff here, when you make a curve with it, it does not wrinkle or kink. It will make a perfect radius around anything you want to do. So you can make a perfect circle like that, and then just back tape away from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And that works really good.
Is that just a universal?
A lot of this stuff wood nacelles. The hardest part to paint on that entire model, believe it or not, is that area at the front of the nacelles where that little grill is on each side. That's a really hard area to paint on that model and make it look clean, because that grill is recessed in there, and there's a cavity on each side of it that you really can't get to. It's hard to get any masking tape in there, so you just have to. What I do is I paint that whole thing blue first, and then mask off that area, and then paint that grill last. And they're gonna have to get in there with a little brush and just touch up a couple tiny little spots, because there's just no way you can mask it. It's really, really hard to do it.
that tape, Boyd, is it just universal vinyl tape? Because we can't get that blue stuff that you use. It's like we have to use the Umbro tape.
Okay, well, 3M or Scotch, or there's a few companies that make that. You can't get this in the UK?
Yes, we can get that in the UK. If you look on eBay, they sell that on eBay.
What, that 3mm vinyl stuff?
Yeah, they sell it. I think it's about £5 a roll, but they do sell it.
I'll have to have not looked. I've searched, but I can't seem to find it. You'll have to
share
the page.
I've just purchased 2 rolls of the 2mm stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, what's nice about it doesn't leave any residue either. It's a clean tape, where like your regular, some of your cheaper brands of masking tape will leave like a cruddy residue behind when you pull it off. That stuff is really clean, and it works great. It'll give you really, really crisp lines, and you won't have any leakage or anything like that.
So, I'm just looking on Amazon right now. Is it like the smallest quarter-inch looks like the smallest I could.
Well, the option you have is, okay, like I've been using this because it's what I have on hand right now.
Yeah.
You can take and pull off a piece.
Yeah, and just cut it.
Stick it down and just cut it. Just use a hobby knife and cut it, and just use the straight edge,
Yeah.
And put that on the inside of whatever you want to mask, and it'll flex just fine.
All right, well that's cool. I'll get some and try it. I mean, you guys. I mean, seriously, in the UK, you can't like buy something off of Amazon and they won't send it to you.
There's some things on Amazon that they won't ship to the UK. I was looking at I've got a Dremel, and I was thinking of getting. I saw something on the US eBay where somebody discussed with me. This is really great. It's like a little, like the one you use, Boyd, the little hand one. You know that Dremel.
Oh, the Dremel.
Yeah.
And it was like $29. It was like $29 in the US.
Yeah, they quit making that.
Country, a new Dremel's something like £50 or £60. Yeah. So I thought, he said, why don't you get one of those? It does the same job. I thought, great, I'll order one. And then underneath, it's got will not ship to the UK. So there's a lot of stuff they won't ship to us.
Well, it depends on what your country will allow into the country, is what
it's got a rechargeable battery and a lithium battery. That's probably what the problem is. Yep. Dremel stylus, yeah, they quit making that, and I don't know why. I mean, because it's way better than the regular Dremel. I don't even use my regular Dremel anymore. I haven't used my regular Dremel in a long time.
But like I say, the Dremel don't make that anymore.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. In fact, I'm going to try to find another one just to keep to get one and have it as a backup in case my my first one dies here eventually. But yeah, I really love that thing.
Why don't you like?
You always have that mended and sent to me, boys.
Why don't you like your regular one?
Because it's just way too big and bulky, and this other one fits in your hand perfectly. It doesn't have a cord attached. There's no, it's. And I think the speed control on it too is much more precise. You can adjust it, and my other one will kind of, you set the speed on it, it will kind of go up and down a little bit. You know, it doesn't hold a true speed. That has like an electronic speed controller in it.
I bought like a power supply, a separate power supply that I use for my Dremel tool because I mean, I can't get it to go slow enough by itself, you know, because it'll start melting the plastic and stuff.
Right.
And so I can literally, I mean, it just goes really slow if I want it to, and it required me to buy a different, a power supply off the eBay for like $25 or something that I paid for it. I'll have to next week I'll bring it and I'll show you what I got. but I mean, it's big and bulky, but it's great for plastic because it gives you that finer level control, the speed control. And so if that's what I was suspicious that it wasn't just the bulkiness, it was the speed, because that was a big issue with me. But I fixed it by just adding another, that separate piece to it.
Well, it's just so nice because it's ergonomic. I mean, it fits in your hand like this. It looks like a little phaser.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you can really control it. I'll rest my finger up on the top here, and I can just get really super precise with it. And I mean, like I said, it's one of the best tools I've ever bought for modeling. I really like this thing.
Is that grip handle built into the Dremel, or is it an adaptation?
I'm sorry?
Is that grip handle built into the Dremel, or is it an adaptation?
It's built into it. The only thing I recommend you buy with it is you have this adjustable chuck, the same one that you can put on your regular Dremel. That way you're not changing collets every time you want to switch drill bit sizes or whatever. You can just put whatever tool you want.
On the new Dremels, boy, they're doing that as an add-on now, that handle you've got.
Ah, okay.
It's gone to the Dremel itself.
Well, I still have my original Dremel over here on the bench. It's set up in my, in the Dremel press.
Yeah. Which one was that? The 2000?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, talking about this problem that us guys have with, when you're trying to drill something and you want to really cut something out, and half the time you tend to use your drill bit, don't you? Sort of cut into it and drill around it. And you're saying that it melts the plastic. Yeah. Have you guys tried using the diamond tips?
I haven't.
Right, you see this here? I'll just get it for you. I'll show you where I put it. You see this here? You see this? Right, now that has completely been cut out with a drill bit.
Mm-hmm.
And what? Yeah. So remember that long piece I showed you that's sticking out?
Right.
Yeah. I cut that out with a total Dremel drill. And what I've been using is this. Right. You can get these anywhere and they really are good. These are diamond tip drill bits.
Mm-hmm. So
what you do, you get one of these diamond tip ones and they don't melt the plastic. They just cut. And I thought, somebody was talking about it on one of the forums, and I thought, oh, get some of them, try them out. And they are really, really good if you want to cut the plastic. They don't melt it. And that's how I did that. It hasn't melted it at all. It's just basically cut the whole thing out. Because when I started that looked like this. Let me show you this. Alright, here's what I've got to do. Now this is how this comes. So you've got that. See it?
Yeah, it's a pretty thick piece. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really big, thick piece. Now, when I first started, this here has been done without the new drill bit. It came out wrong. It went too big, melted the plastic, and God knows what. But since I've used the diamond tip, you've got a nice, clean finish, and it hasn't melted the plastic.
There you go. There's a good tip for everybody.
Well, but the speed at which it may vary with your drill tip, but it's actually the speed at which the rotation is happening that determines whether you cut or you melt.
Yeah, that Dremel 2000 I've got until I get my new one. There's two speeds, slow and fast.
Yeah.
And the slow setting is not slow. It's either fast or faster. But Boyd, you should know that because you've got one.
Well, yeah, I must be wrong about the model. Then mine's got a wheel on it. You know that you could. It's got multiple.
Oh, hang on, I was trying to show you mine. Wait a minute.
Multiple adjustments, but it doesn't hold a true speed. It'll kind of wander around when it's running. You can hear it changing RPMs. Where that stylus, it's like real precise.
Yeah, guys. Here's mine. I'll show you mine. I'll show you what I mean. Just plug this in.
And you know, Tamiya also makes that little motorized drill that it's actually like a model kit. You have to buy it, put it together.
Here's mine.
It turns really slow. Oh yeah, that's the old one. Yeah.
Right, that's right. So I've got this speed. Right, that speed, and I've got this speed.
Yeah.
So I've got this speed. That's one, which is quite fast, and then you got two.
Yeah, that's really fast.
That's all it has, and it doesn't matter what speed you set this at. But what I did on there, it didn't burn the plastic. It cut
Right.
it. So that's just a little tip you guys might want to pick up on. It's the diamond tip blade drill bits that do it.
Nice.
Well, guys, I just went and I looked and saw what I had back there. If you do an eBay search for Variac transformer, you're going to see a bunch of them out there on eBay. And obviously you don't need super horsepower for this, but find the one that you think matches your. Now UK they probably, I'm not sure this is
240.
but that would give you basically a very fine speed control on your Dremel, no matter what model you have. Because now you're not depending on the actual one that is included with the device. You're using this other tool.
So you're controlling the voltage that's going into the tool.
Right. So basically, he's starving it.
Right.
Yeah.
But what does a speed control do?
Yeah.
That just speed control provides constant current.
Yeah.
Where Variac will just give you constant voltage, but it will steal the current.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go to John Petrie now. John made it back in. And what have you been working on your bench there, John?
Well, I've been working on the JJ Prize Enterprise.
Oh, have fun.
And it doesn't go together very well, some of it.
Yeah.
So I haven't been doing much on that today. I've been mostly working on Voyager. I'm near completion on Voyager at the minute.
Oh, that's looking really cool.
That looks good. Nice.
Very nice.
I've got all my own lighting kit in. I'll plug it in so you can have a look.
That's a nice size model. Is that the Revell kit?
Yeah, it is.
Oh wow, look at that.
What size drill bit did you use for the windows for that?
I used a. Was it for the windows? Do you mean?
Yes.
I used one of these.
Yeah.
With the 1 mil bit in.
The 1 mil.
I drilled like 3 holes in each window.
Yeah.
And I used my hobby knife to cut them out. And I also put a little piece of 600 grit on a very thin piece of styrene to make it more robust. And I sort of sanded in the windows on either side.
Right.
And that sort of made the windows a little bit better. I've done something a little different on this one. I didn't want it to look like what everybody else's looks like, so I've given it some Borg upgrades. And I've got green fiber optics in the sensors. Yeah.
Very nice.
Very nice.
I don't know if you can see it on the camera.
John, have you got my mailing address?
Well, this is definitely
fantastic on my shelf next to my.
It hasn't got any canopy glue on the windows or anything yet. It still needs the thrusters painted. There's a few details I need to do, but it's nearly there. I should be on decal stage at the end of this week. So
beautiful. Very nice.
The thrusters, the impulse engines, got the torpedo at the front and the back.
That's great.
Really, yeah.
Yeah.
The flasher unit on where it should be. I did have fibre optics in the back because it's very small. And I tried to put some very small LEDs in there, but they just would not fit. So it's got masking tape on underneath.
Have you tried the new SMDs?
I am moving on to those now, and I'm going to use them in the JJ prize. But I'm quite pleased with the way this has turned out.
Looks
Yeah.
great.
It looks really bright at the
looks
moment. But obviously, there's a glare. You can see all the wires inside and everything. But once the canopy glues in all the windows, that should dull it right down.
Excellent work, John.
Yeah.
That looks nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, all the tips from the Sci-Fi Model Action and the Google Plus, I've had a lot of help off people. I've only been building these models for 12 months. I had never built a model before 12 months ago. And,
How long did it take you?
Videos on YouTube.
Okay, you can leave now.
How long did it take you to do the windows?
It took us about 4 days.
4 days. That constantly working on them.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I did have a break every now and again when my fingers seized up and I couldn't actually move them. But, it does take a lot to get the windows right.
Yeah.
Well, you did an outstanding job on that, John. Really appreciate you showing on that today. Awesome.
I couldn't have done it without all the help I've had. Like I say, 12 months ago, I didn't know how to wire a resistor, an LED. I didn't even know about them.
Hello, welcome to the club.
Lighting models. I got on YouTube, learnt all about it. I watched Boyd's demonstration about soldering and all that sort of thing, and learnt quite quickly. And I seem to be able to put these models together. They're not perfect. Under close scrutiny, there is a few issues with the paintwork and the glue and that, but I am getting better.
Oh, that's excellent, John. Yeah, that's another good testimonial to how valuable those communities and forums and everything. It's just.
I think if there wasn't somewhere like that to go, this model would have been started and then probably threw in the bin when I got stuck. But because there's lots of people willing to help, lots of YouTube videos, it's just made it a hell of a lot easier to put it down when you get stuck, pick it back up again the next day, and maybe you've learnt a few things off asking people and a few tips, tricks, more videos. I mean, it's just incredible the support you get off the website and the videos. I couldn't have done it without them.
How are you painting your models, John?
Airbrush.
And don't ask what sort of airbrush have you got?
I've got a Spray Master. It's
Right.
just
Is that a fast flowing airflow?
well, it depends what your compressor is.
Yeah.
The airflow is what you choose.
No,
I mean, the one I'm using at the moment. Pardon?
From the end of the, without turning, if you have your compressor on at 20, right?
Yeah.
How do you do you know how to turn the ability down so you can get a fine jet and still save the same pressure of your paint?
Yeah, well, that's how thin. If you turn the pressure right down on your compressor to say 10 psi, your paint will still come out if it's thin enough.
Yeah, but do you know there's a way you can keep 20 psi and still have a very low pressure? A lot of people don't know this. They go out.
To do that, I would use a smaller nozzle.
No, you don't need to. A lot of people have been going out buying these brand new air guns that cost 300 and 400 quid with the. It's a Mac valve there on the front of it. If you go to a company called Air Suppliers, you can buy a thing called a Mac valve that fits on your air gun on between your connector and your air gun. I'll show you it.
It's just a regulator.
Yeah, I've got one of those. I've got one of those on my airbrush as well. I mean, mate, the airbrush I'm using at the moment.
I found these one of these.
Yeah, it's an air regulator.
Yeah, and I found that really does cut down on. You can do really fine work with these.
Well, my airbrush actually has one of those built into it because it's an Iwata clone.
Yeah, you've got the Iwata clone.
But it's a really good airbrush.
Yeah, I got the Eclipse. I got the Eclipse, and because it's a fast-flowing airflow, I had to get one of these to cut down on the, so get a smooth.
Yeah, well, my airbrush actually has one of those built into it. So
Oh, you put one of those, did you?
I can choose to turn the pressure up or down if I want, and it also has one on the back, so you can turn that and your paint comes out at a less velocity or more velocity, whichever you choose. It's just getting control over the airbrush.
So you went to the virtually top of the range of the brushes that you've got there in the Iwata.
No, it's a clone. It cost us £25 off eBay, and it's an Iwata clone, but it's exactly the same. It's just as good a performance.
Blimey.
Well, you know, you've also got, besides your volume of air, you've also got your adjustment on your airbrush that a lot of people don't even know how to use. If we want to talk about airbrushes a little bit, you've got a volume control inside your airbrush. If you're holding up that Eclipse that you just had there, Jamie, if you could hold that up again, it should have the opening in the back. Okay, that knob right there is for adjusting the paint volume. You're backing it further towards the rear of the brush. What it does is when you pull the trigger, okay, if it's adjusted in the forward position, when you push the trigger, you're going to get paint coming immediately, okay? Now, if you back the knob off towards the rear of the brush, when you push the trigger down and start pulling back, you're not going to get paint until you get almost to the very back of the action of the brush, and that lowers the volume of the paint that's coming out.
Gives you a little bit more control.
Yep, and a lot of people don't even know what that adjustment there is for. But that's
this one here, boy.
That one right there. That's why they have that opening on the back of the brush, so you can easily adjust that.
Yeah,
I didn't know this. So you actually pull that back, screw it back, and that'll lower the volume, will it?
It adjusts the sensitivity of your trigger. Yeah, so you're basically pushing the trigger down, and in its normal position, when you push the trigger down, you activate your air, right?
Yeah.
If you start to pull the trigger back, that's when you start feeding your paint.
Yeah.
Well, in its normal position, you're going to get that immediately, where if you roll it back a little bit, you're not going to get it till halfway or almost all the way pulled back, so that you're going to get a lot better control over when you want paint to come out.
I thought that
fine detail work.
I thought that was just to lock the needle in position.
Yeah, that's what I always thought that was. I thought it was just a locking pin.
No, the body itself will move. Okay, you have a different adjuster in the tail. Take the tail off of it real quick, Jamie. You can show everybody. Okay, you see the lock nut there on the back?
Yeah, that's all I thought that was for.
Yeah, no, that lock nut locks down the needle, but you can also, the forward part there, you see that is showing right there now?
This bit?
That bit. You turn that back, and that adjusts the sensitivity of the brush, of the paint coming through.
Right, so instead of having that just forward straight all the way, then you can pull that back, screw it back.
That's
and
right.
It'll slow down the flow.
Yep.
Now, see, I didn't know that. I thought that was just a locking in position.
No, so like when you take the gun apart, I call it a gun, but the brush, when you take it apart to clean it, you're going to take all that out of there. You got to make sure.
Yeah, this all just comes out.
Yeah.
This airbrush I'm using here, the Iwata clone.
Yeah, you got to make sure you put it back where it was.
Back. And this is what Boyd's talking about. This stops the paint from coming. You turn it. It's on the cap.
This has got it in a different location, but it's the same principle.
Yeah. This one's on the inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just pointing that out. A lot of people don't know how to, all the functions that an airbrush has. They just point and spray, but there's a lot of adjustments on it.
Mine's actually got one here also.
Mm-hmm.
And that stops the paint coming out as well.
Yep. That's a nice airbrush there. That's a more advanced one. Yeah.
It's actually called a Spray Master. It was £25 with the hose, the 2.2, 0.3, 0.5 needles and nozzles. It cost about £25 on eBay. I wasn't hoping much for it, but it is an Iwata clone and it works perfectly. I've used it for the last year and it's never let us down. £25 eBay. Spray Master.
Well, talking about spraying again, on the bigger models, I've shown on my videos where I use that mini detail gun for automotive use, and there are a couple people on there saying that it was wrong to use that because it wastes a lot of paint. Well, you have to understand that gun, you have to learn how to use the tool. That gun can be turned down with the you can adjust the fan with the fan of the spray that comes out of it. You can open it way up, or you can close it way down.
Like an airbrush.
The volume of it, and you can turn the air pressure way down, so that I can get that little SATA mini jet gun to spray almost as fine as an airbrush.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to learn how to use all the different adjustments on it instead of saying something doesn't work. Because they were saying that that it wastes a lot of paint. Well, you can turn that so far down that I can paint these little 1/25th scale model cars and not get hardly any overspray at all. It'll spray just like if you're spraying out of a can or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have that because I compare like trying to paint the saucer of a 350 scale Enterprise with an airbrush to like mowing a football field with a push mower.
Yeah.
Why would you want to do that? You're going to get a lot of streaks and uneven because your paint's not going to, paint to get a nice smooth surface on your paint. It has to go on wet and it has to settle and dry. If you're painting on a huge surface with an airbrush, you're going to get parts of the paint that are already dry when you're finishing up the rest of the spraying, and that's where you're going to get all the streaks and everything going on. So
when I painted Voyager, I used the 0.5mm nozzle, a needle, and it comes out quite strong. It was enough to cover this, but I don't think it would cover anything bigger than that.
Right. Yeah. Now, yeah, you can get some airbrushes that will push quite a bit of volume, but most normal airbrushes are used for like I know some of the Pache airbrushes they'll put out a lot of volume, and you can maybe paint some bigger stuff. But with that little detail gun, I can go over like a saucer on a 350 scale, like 2 or 3 passes, and it's completely covered.
Yeah, I watched you really nice. So one with that.
Boyd, yeah. Thanks for that tip on that. I didn't know about that. That's a useful tip for me. Again, lowering the volume even further.
Yeah, you can practice with it, Jamie. You can just try different adjustments on it, then spray on some paper or something, and you'll see.
Yeah.
What it does.
The question I have to ask you is: you use that big gun for spraying the insides for light blocking? Yeah.
No, I just use cans. I just use cans for that.
No, I saw that spray gun you use on your videos. It's like a big gun, and you just wash over the insides of them.
I did paint one, but usually I use cans for that.
Would the Tamiya
NX01, wasn't it?
Would the Tamiya be all right for that, for the inside?
Tamiya paint?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I wouldn't even use expensive paint, Jamie. I just use the 99-cent cans of black and white that I get at my local. I mean, that doesn't have to look good. All it has to do is
it just do just as good a job then.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't spend your dollars on paint you're never going to see.
Exactly.
Yep.
So let's, John, did you have anything, Miller, you wanted to show, or should we move on to John Swaller next?
Yeah, just move on.
Okay. I really appreciate you showing. That's a beautiful model, and I'm sure you've posted. I haven't seen them yet, but we'll look forward to seeing your pictures over on the
yes, I've posted the model. I did a full build log on it so far on the Google Plus website.
Excellent. Okay, John. Well, how's everything going with you today?
Doing all right. It was supposed to rain all weekend, and there's nothing but sunshine. I'm like, they screwed it all. But I do have a few things to show you. I'm gonna dim my lights here a little bit. Get the romantic view for the model point. I mean the model. Let me change my camera here.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that looks great.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that looks really good.
I can turn this off.
Man, John, all that hard work has really paid off. That's beautiful.
God, yes.
I know the webcam's blowing out the LED, the fiber optics, but down here on the little starfish you got on the base, I got me about 3 or 4 different color LEDs hooked up to a candlelight LED, which is kind of working out real nice. The red's kind of overpowering, but best I can do. I don't have all the blinkies hooked up on the inside, but it's the canopy I was worried about right now, and unfortunately it looks like it's blowing through my decal for the canopy. So I'm thinking that I talked halfway through the build, a gentleman at work saw it, and he says he wanted it. I said, okay, cool. We worked out a deal, and I told them that the decals are being washed out behind the LEDs kind of coming through. I said maybe we can come back and tape it off real nice and actually paint the decal. And I was wondering if anybody has ever painted over decals and what would happen if I do.
I painted over them and it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, cool. Other than that, let's see. I have my cutouts for the navigation little beacons that's supposed to be on here, and I'm hoping to use the window. What is it? 590, 690 canopy glue. Hopefully they fit in there real nice and smooth. My light back on here. Believe it or not, Boyd, this is the color on here is actually the craft paints.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean it really turned out almost what do you call the
like the Alclads?
No, I wouldn't go as far as that, but I would say that once I put the floor wax on it, really brought out the shine. I mean, really made it look nice. And I ran across a find at the local donation center, which is called Red Racks here in Baldwin. And I don't know if it's quite to scale or not, but I'd like to show that to you.
Sure.
Believe it or not, I saw this from across the old Walmart.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
And so I got to do some research and see if it. We got to do some research and see if it's Canon or not. But it's a clock radio.
Right. I remember when those came out. They had them at there's a Spencer's novelty store in our mall here, and they used to have them there.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to see how much I can take apart, and I think the cells here are clear blue, so that's kind of cool. I might actually be able to do something with this.
Yeah.
And I paid a big 99 cents for it.
Wow. Can't beat that. Get to have some fun with it too.
Yeah.
One more thing. A couple weeks back, I actually, I got two hobbies that finance this hobby, which is metal detecting and playing my pick 3. My pick 3 came in for me one day and surprised me, and it was a bonus. Instead of the lady running my regular 5 tickets, she ran 6. So I won $1,800.
Oh, wow.
So, I went on.
That'll help increase the model stash.
My own model, unfortunately. I went out to Amazon. I bought me $100 worth of little tools and stuff, and I happened to see a model on Amazon that took me back to my childhood, which was the B-17G Flying Fortress. I would say this is the first model I did as a young man, in my early teens, you might say. A couple of years from now, I'm hoping to break into this, and I ain't going to battle damage this one up. This one's going to be pristine and nice, and maybe some.
I have the Memphis Belle.
Do you? This is a 1/48 scale. Is the Memphis Belle the same size?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I think that's a repop of the original monogram B-17 kit. It's a big kit. It has the whole interior, the cockpit and everything, right, John?
Yes, it does, and it's got like 5 figurines, and I didn't do the figurine on this because I didn't think I have enough skill to do that, but I'm going to give those a shot once I break open. I mean, it's been open, and wife made me make sure everything was inside and all that. It looks like it's really detailed out on the canopy. I mean, inside the...
Yeah, unlike you, John, I built those all when I was a kid. They had all of them. They had that kit. They had the Enola Gay, the big B-29, and they had the B-24 Liberator, and they were all on the same scale. They were huge models, and they were really cool. I'm glad to see they brought them back.
I know I hesitate to mention this, but HK Models has got a 1/32 B-17G out there.
Man.
There's the one I got, John.
Oh, there you go.
What size is that, Dick?
It's 1/48 scale.
And that's the Memphis Belle?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice.
Man, look at the price on that baby. I remember when that model was like $12.
You know what? Yeah, that was the price, and actually Hobbytown had it on sale for like half off, so I got like half of that.
Nice.
That's what led me to get it, because I was looking for it. I was like, ooh, I'm going to grab that.
Well, I know we talk a lot about sci-fi models here, but a lot of us, I'm sure, like to build all types of models, and I just got the, well, I just ordered, it isn't here yet, but I ordered that U-boat kit that I've been wanting to fine-tune. I can't wait to start on that. A fellow from over in, I'm trying to think where it was. I think it was Norway, sent me an email, and he sent me a really nice list of all the, I had no idea, there's a whole bunch of, there's about $300, the model kit was $100, but there was about $300 worth of add-on parts that you could get for it. Everything from the deck guns, you know, made out of photo etch, the railings, even a real wooden deck that'll go on the top of it. Just beautiful stuff. And that'll probably take a long time to put that together, because I'm going to do all the cabling and everything on it. And that's going to be a lot of fun, though. But yeah, we all enjoy building everything besides sci-fi, I'm sure, too. So, okay, I'm going to move on to Shannon. But before I get you, Shannon, I've got a couple of comments and questions that I wanted to get to that came in from the viewers. One of them here is from, let's see, it's from Ian. I'm not even going to try to say his last name. I don't want to destroy it. But it says, speaking of polytranspar paints, has anyone else noticed a difference between the blue? I have completely shaken and stirred it up, but it always seems way more glossy than the others, and it doesn't seem to show up as well as the others. He mentions down here a little further that he's using it on a, he's spraying it over top of a metallic gray that he's doing on an NX09 Avenger. So I think that might be what the issue there is, Ian, is the color that you're spraying it over top of is, it's going to mask a little bit of that blue up against it. When you spray them on a lighter surface, they should pretty much all show up about the same. And one here from Bill Tate, another fellow from over there in the UK who's a phenomenal scratch builder. I am researching the big Rat Lab from Jerry Anderson's Joe 90. Do you guys know what that is?
Yes, yeah.
I am thinking of building the whole scene with Joe in the spinning rat trap. My question is that the wall behind the rat trap pulses and the light appears to zoom in and out. Any thoughts on creating that?
Well, that would be one for Ralph, I think.
Yeah.
Ralph, Ralph, you don't know what the kit is, do you?
No, I do not.
In Joe 90, he's a character that wears glasses, and he goes into this booth. It's like a round booth like this. And he sits in a chair like this, and then you've got this pulsating effect at the back where it spins around him. And basically, Joe 90 was like a kid's secret agent, and it gave him the ability of a persona of all the intelligence of, like, if he wanted to be a secret agent, it hypnotized him through his glasses and become a secret agent, and it used to spin around in the chair, and then he used to get out and become this personator.
So it filled him with all the knowledge he needed.
Yeah, yeah, that was Joe 90.
So that's where they got the idea of the Matrix.
Yeah. But what he's on about, Ralph, he's on about the pulsating effect from the back. It sort of goes like this as it spins round him. That's what he's on about.
I see. I'd have to see it firsthand in order to get any idea on how to approach it.
I mean, the best way you could do that, Ralph, is like you did for me. Look it up on the web, Joe 90, and watch the. It always starts with him in the booth, so you can see it.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it comes right up. Great.
Yeah. So I hope that helps.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's get to Shannon then and see what Shannon's working on today.
Okie dokie. Just this little beauty. See the
57 Chevy. All right.
Oh, cool.
That's from my aunt. She said she wanted a black one. So I'm going to paint the body black. do all the exterior chroming on that darn thing. Won't that be fun? The chrome, not the paint.
Are you going to do that bare metal foil stuff, Shannon?
No, it comes with chrome parts on it.
Oh, okay.
It has chrome parts in it. I mean, with the exterior, it's gonna have to. I'm gonna have to use one of these little old Krylon thingies. It's a little old black one. It's Krylon Fusion. What I use when I'm gonna use it.
That's a lot of people have been saying they like that paint.
Supposed to bond to plastic. Whew. Oh man, right now I've done so much painting on this, I'm beginning to see paint in my head, back of my eyes.
He's having nightmares.
No, I'm having spots in front of my eyes. Right?
Looking forward to seeing that when you finish it up. Shannon? Did you happen to see my helper here in the shop, Sir Sanslot? He finished up his GTO. Did you get to see the pictures of that?
No, I haven't watched that yet.
Oh, it came out really nice. He's happy he's really happy with it.
Oh, one more thing before you go. Y'all was wondering about this one.
NX01.
I just got it.
Yeah, the NXL1 it is.
Looks great.
Yeah, I just got everything done, detailed on it.
That's beautiful, Shannon. Nice job.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, I know. I made a few mistakes, but who cares? Ain't nobody gonna see them unless you look real close.
You have a whole fleet there, right? You've been building quite a few of those.
Well, I built that, and I built the refit. That's it for them. I'm done with this model for a while.
Yeah.
I'll do a couple of these car things, then I'm gonna quit. Modeling for a while.
Oh, don't do that.
No, I'm not going to completely quit. Let's see, I got a book to write. I mean, storybook to write. Biography to write. I don't know. I got a lot of things I got to do.
He's a busy
A lot
man.
of things, Hopper. Sounds like Ralph, I know.
I think some of you guys got me beat there, though.
Well, make sure you put some pictures. You know, Shannon, we've got that other community. I don't know if you know if it's there. We've got the Scale Model Action community on Google. Make sure you put some pictures of that Chevy up on there when you finish with it. I'd like to see it.
Oh, I will.
All right. All right, let's go to Ralph and see what Ralph's been up to lately.
Oh, man. I don't know where to start. Like I said, I redid the paperwork for the B9 robot. We decided to go with the magnetic switch approach to engage the voice and light action to mimic the voice. But when you and I talked, Boyd, that's the way, you know, I'm going to ship it like that. But if you guys want to use a regular momentary switch, you can wire the switches in parallel. You know what I'm saying, right? It's just two wires. You can put the two wires to the magnetic switch and then put your momentary switch to those same two wires. So that way, if you want to engage it just by pushing a button, you can do that. Or if you want to engage them by swiping the magnet, you can do that. So it's up to you. I guess you'll have a little bit more flexibility if you want to add your own switch.
Well, I can say for mine, Ralph, that sounds a little better because having to reach around and push that button every time to make him talk, I'd rather just wave a little magnet, you know, on the side.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice touch. So.
Right. Yeah, so I figured you guys might like that, and the way that board works, the magnet is great. There's no like some of you guys have built it, like those car boards. Sometimes you can double clutch. If you don't swipe the magnet just right, you might go from, let's say, mode 2 to mode 4 and skip mode 3. Well, with the voice on this soundboard, the way it works is it's kind of bulletproof. You know, they'll always go to the same, you know, the sequential voice. And now Dave brought up something very interesting about the previous build he did. about sometimes it would the voice LED would go out of sequence, I guess, with the actual voice of him talking, and he would have to reset it. I can tell you guys that you guys can swipe away or push away at your heart's content. That voice, the red LED on the breastplate that mimics the voice, it will be in sync 100% of the time, no matter how fast you hit those buttons, because it reacts like in nanoseconds to whatever you do as far as that LED. So I think you guys will like that very much. You won't have to resynchronize anything. It's all done on the fly. So it's we're very happy with it. Can't wait to see Boyd what he does with what he's got to do with it. And,
I watched that bit that Boyd did, Ralph, of that bit of film, that voice, that matching it so close, incredible.
Yeah.
Well, what it is that the board I use actually has a button to reset it, because sometimes if you shut it off midstream, it'll get out of sync. So you have to shut it off, press the button to resync it, and that's what Ralph was saying, which I'm going to be doing another one here in the near future. I'm going to use Ralph's board, and I really like what Boyd showed last night, Ralph. I really do.
I like that.
I like some of the stuff, the magnet switch and all that you did. I think it's going to be really nice.
Ralph, I was going to ask you. I didn't know last night when I showed the thing, and I'm going to show it here in a minute again too. How many sayings do you have on there?
I think that it's either 14 or 16. I forgot. I mean, we can add more.
Well, I had a funny idea already, Ralph. See, some people that watch my channel here, they already know that I've got a mascot, a shop mascot. It's the 3-foot tall version of him that drives around on the floor. So what I want to do is I want to build another one of these later on, but I've got some interesting voice clips that I want you to put on it. I'm going to have, it's not even going to be the robot. I'm going to have like Curly from the Three Stooges saying, "Oh, wise guy," and some of that other voice.
Yeah, that's right. That's fun. That's good. You can do anything. You can have your voice, wife.
No doubt.
Say your wife saying, "Come on, Boyd, time to get in here. Come on in."
Exactly. Something. I'm going to do something kind of unique where he'll be a little bit different, but.
Except for the Cylon Raider. I mean, not the Raider, the Cylon Centurion. Wait till he pops his head out again. He's mad.
Yeah.
I love it when you speak Southern.
Yeah, I know. What a hypocrite. I'm trying. But you know, Dave, I was the one that I gave Boyd. The first time around, I had actually put my own voice synthesized. And at the end, it would just say, "kind of controls brings models to life." So, but I took it out.
You got to say, "All right, you kids, get in the car."
Yeah, there you go.
Go to bed.
Hey, you know, we got these big signs on the highway here that says, and even the Massachusetts State Police are playing into it. They say, "Use your blinker." Use your blinker.
Is it spelled K-A-H, blinker?
Yep.
I love it.
Ralph, do you think you'll ever get to the stage? I mean, what you've done with the robot is fantastic. I mean, I'm actually going to order one of those from you because I want to build that robot. But I was never going to build it until I could get it to do what that does. But do you think we'll ever get to the stage where, you know, you've got this magnet activation, where you could actually be fantastic if we could ever get to the stage where you could actually say something voice activated?
Well, we're at the point where we can do them. We can put what they call a PIR sensor. So when you walk into the room, you can do something, whatever that do something means to you guys. You can make them talk. And actually, the only thing is, though, you'd have to get out of that line of sight. If you want to break that line of sight again, you can index to the next voice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cool.
Huh. Yeah, as far as voice, I mean, now you're talking like I'm talking. I just got my wife a new car, and it's got the navigation system where you can talk to it. That's pretty scary. I mean, we'd have to give it voice commands.
Does it nag you like the wife?
Well, you know, the Apple phone, Cirrus.
As long as these navigation systems in these cars don't start arguing with you, like
that's the point.
French fries while you're driving.
Hey,
we
Cirrus on Apple.
French fry, eh?
we just got it last week, and we went up to Vermont to see my son, and we activated the navigation system by pushing the buttons like I do with my regular Garmin, and we got there, but you know, as we're driving, we used to say hearing like, okay, you know, take a right, you know, in so many feet or so many tenths of a mile. This thing said nothing the whole trip. I hit every button imaginable on that system. So I called the Ford guy. I said, hey, what's going on? It doesn't talk. He goes, well, it should talk. Then my son goes, no, it doesn't talk. Yeah, they do talk. Well, we went down to Rhode Island yesterday, and we activated the navigation system by talking to it. So you understand that this system is very polite. I guess it won't talk to you unless you talk to it first. So we told it where to go by voice command, and it reciprocated by telling us where to go by voice command.
Uh-oh.
Well,
So
don't say nothing mean to it, or it's going to tell you where to go.
Yeah, really. Off a cliff.
It's
This is kind of
almost funny anymore. I mean, when you get into a car anymore, especially if you get one of these new cars with everything on it, it's like you're doing everything except driving anymore.
Yeah, that's scary. I know. You're right.
Yeah.
There's for TomTom they did Star Wars voices for the driving directions.
Oh yeah, John, you can use anything. You can get any guy to talk to you. Like,
well, I mean, it's funny though. You get like Darth Vader for your
Yeah.
like, you have reached
Don't
short.
get William Shatner or you'll miss your turn.
Yeah.
At the neck.
You overreact.
Spit it out, Bill. Spit it out, Bill.
I know they had a Dale Jr. one out there that would talk in his voice.
Oh, okay. Well, what else, Ralph? Anything else you want to share with us?
Well, well, you know, Eric was kind enough to give me all those ships, the 1/1000 scale, Refit, Reliant, and the NX. We got to get to those. I know Jamie wants that Stinger, and then we got some other people with the Romulan Warbird. We're working on this. We actually have the sound. It's just a matter of he wants it now a little bit louder and with more quality. So we have a way to go with that as well. So I just have to get back to them because the robot was taking up my time. So we got a lot of side projects going on that will, especially like the Romulan Warbird, that will probably make it into the Tenor Controls website because we are very well. We don't have any, to be honest, with the Romulans and the Cleon ships. So eventually we got to get to those guys too. But you know, there's only so many things we can do at one time. And Boyd's going to have himself the Reliant, the photon torpedoes that has the forward and rear firing. That's pretty much all set, Boyd. It's just a matter of doing some paperwork for it, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Will that be for any kid, or will that be?
Yeah, Dave. You mean the Reliant one, the forward? Yeah. If we choose the smaller LEDs, then we can go. It's pretty much you can do it on any kit as long as we can get the board. Well, if we can't get the board in there, you know, you guys always put boards in the base anyway, right? Just
Right.
There's plenty of room even in the, well, maybe not the 1/1000 scale. I don't know, but on the 1537 kit, there's plenty of room to put boards in that.
Right.
Yeah, true. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm going to use that same board on that big De Boers that I'm working on too.
Well,
Ralph.
that was going to be my next question, if you were going to do that or not.
Yeah, just basically build it to scale the firing mechanism, which is the LEDs, right? Just choose a bigger size LED. You know, if the tree's not big enough, or if the tree's too big, you go to the 1.8, or with Jerry's little 0402 SMDs, which we're using on the B9 robot. I mean, those are tiny. They're like a grain of sand.
Microscopic.
Don't sneeze.
Really. Hey, you know, David, I used that when I was working on that B9 robot. I actually had to get a big old magnifying glass to look at the chip. But believe it or not, because I asked Jerry, I said, Jerry, how do I know which is the positive side of this LED? Because it comes with wires. And I spoke before I thought. He goes, Ralph, it's the shorter wires, the minus. I said, oh, yeah, of course. so anyway, I have to integrate that into my wiring diagrams for the Lost in Space robot, which you don't have, Boyd. I don't think the new, as far as how to tell apart the LEDs from the robot. I put that
I don't have to worry about that. I got the prototype here, and it's already all geared up and set up and ready to go. You did all the hard work.
but getting back to that LED, with the magnifying glass, Dave, you can actually see there's a little green dot on the side that's minus. So it follows convention of the LED chips, but it's so tiny it's almost impossible to see.
How'd you like to solder them all day long?
Forget about it. Forget about it.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, well, I see Mike Morgan made it back. Before I show you this B9 and this other little thing I finished up here, let's talk to Mike. What do you got going on today, Mike?
Working on the Batmobile still. I made a little progress on some figure painting. I don't know if you guys saw the figure painting.
Oh, nice.
See that very clear.
The dynamic duo.
Yeah, there's the Robin, and I did the Batman. I did this car before, this kit before, and I really didn't know much about figure painting. It took me a while to figure out different stuff. I mean, this, I hate to toot my own horn, but this is probably the better looking of the three that I've ever did. And well, I messaged Ralph here the other day.
Oh yeah, let's see how big that car is, Dave.
Well, Mike, okay, here's the chassis of it, and this is the size of your board, which is approximately 1.5 inch by, what is it say, 0.6, so that's about a half inch.
It's 0.7 actually, almost 0.7, Mike.
What would that, I mean, like fraction-wise, what would that be?
It's almost 3/4 of an inch.
3/4 of an inch?
Almost, yeah, 0.7.
All right.
3/4 would be 0.75.
All right, I was mistaken. Then it will actually fit in, it will just fit inside that area, because that's
the other thing, Mike, that board is 0.7 inches in width, but I think we can shave it. When you get it, you can shave it down very carefully, or we can do it actually before. If you want to go there, if you want to go with this, we'll probably do it for you so we don't break the etch lines. I think there's some room between the etch lines and the end of the board, so we can make it a little skinnier if it needs to be.
All right, one other question. What's the minimal power that board needs to operate in?
Well, we can run it. My board has a regulator on board, Mike. It's got a 5-volt regulator, so you can run it either off 9-volt battery or 12-volt battery, or whatever in between you want to do. I'm sorry?
What about a watch battery? Like
oh, a watch battery is 3.3 volts or 3 volts. So I'd have to take the regulator off the board. You'd have to power it directly, like we did with the Cylon Raider.
Right.
That has a 3-volt, 3.3 coin battery in it, so that has no regulator on the board. It's powered by the 3.3, and that would be okay. The only thing is, we probably would, for the car in that scale, I think we can keep the same resistors and it'll still be bright enough. The LED.
Yeah, I pretty much want to do everything that Boyd did, which is very possible actually, even with the, I don't know what that thing is right there on the passenger side. I'm going to call it an array or a scope.
It's a radar scope, Mike.
Okay, radar scope. I think I could actually put a 1.8 millimeter green in there to flash like that, kind of slowly flash.
Yep.
In there. I was thinking of using the 1. I was actually thinking about using all 1.8s in this, to be honest with you, except for the tail.
Yeah, what I can do, Mike, is we can give you the board. If you want to use a coin battery, that's fine. We can give you the board and the manual that tells you how to connect things, and then you just choose your own LEDs, and the board will take care of the current to the LEDs.
Right. But that's what I have planned for that. I saw it's like I don't like yelling out numbers. Like $30, which is really doable. Actually, that's actually really doable.
Yeah.
Not an over expense for a model. I don't think it is. At least doesn't seem it.
That'll be really cool, Mike, because I don't think I've ever seen anybody else light that smaller scale version of that car.
148.
Yeah, I don't think anybody. I haven't seen anybody light that one. That'll be really cool.
Batmobile. Tiny Batmobile.
Hey, Mike, I just had a thought. Well, yeah, the coin battery is fine, but the one that I used, my coin battery to run the Cylon Raider, is like a size of a quarter. That's going to be too big for that car.
Wait a minute here. Wait a minute. I got a quarter, just in case. Here's a quarter. There's a quarter.
Oh wow.
That'll fit.
Yeah.
Even if I had to move it forward, which would be behind the seat.
Okay, Mike. The other thing is you need a. Okay, I have it. I have the battery coin holder itself because you're gonna need that. You know.
Right. Yeah, that
How
would
many
work.
volts does your coin battery put out, Ralph?
It's 3.3 volts, but the current, I'm not sure. It's just a standard 2032. The problem is it won't last a ton in length if you keep it on forever, you know. That's the
9-volt will fit in there too. Actually.
9-volt?
Well, there's a 9-volt. You'd have to really be finagling.
Mike, I'm telling you, if you can fit the 9-volt, do the 9-volt. You'll be happy.
My Batmobile, Mike, I'm using those. I got some of those rechargeable 9-volt batteries like that.
Right.
My Batmobile, if I turn it on, it'll run like 2 or 3 days. Constant, it'll die.
Oh my! I don't want it to run that long.
But I mean,
No,
just
but you have the option.
how long it would last. It's a long time.
Were they NiCad or lithium?
Whatever the Duracell 9-volt rechargeable batteries, I don't know what they are, but my wife got them for me. She got me the little recharging station, you know, because I got a couple models that I'm running on 9 volts, and I was buying batteries all the time, so I said, why don't I just get some of these rechargeable ones, and they work good.
All right. Then that's. I mean, I'm doable.
I'm using bigger LEDs in mine. If you're using SMDs, it'll run even longer than that.
Even those wheat batteries is 1.8.
No.
That's what.
Whoa, what? Wheat batteries? What would you say?
I know. I call them that. 1.8.
Oh. Yeah, don't use wheat. When I hear wheat bulb, don't use wheat bulbs. Those are not LEDs.
Oh, really?
Grain of wheat, you mean?
No, those are Philip. Those are incandescent bulbs. They'll suck a lot of current. And by the way, you know, because I built stuff for the railroads, not many things, but just the railroad boards. I went to some of the sites. You know, guys, we talk about LEDs, how long they last in like hundreds and thousands of hours. Well, thousands of hours. You know, those wheat bulbs, their longevity is in hours. You got. I mean, you got to be. I'm not going to say the word, but you got to really be a diehard to want to deal with wheat bulbs. You got to really like the hue of the color to deal with that baloney that you got to change it every so many hours.
Those guys need to research because they make the SMDs in all those colors. You can get the same exact warm white look that you're talking about with an SMD now. I mean, you don't even need to be using those anymore.
Yeah, they'll suck those wheat bulbs, Mike, will suck a lot of current, and they'll die on you.
Hey, I want to ask somebody, maybe the panel here, a question. The front grille of the Batmobile, is there actual, you can find scale, maybe that size of scale screen to cut out and put in behind that?
Yeah, there's different places that you can find that, Mike. You just have to do a search on the internet, but there's companies that make different mesh and things like that for models that you could find something that's pretty close.
All right, well, enough is enough here. I think I got all my info down. I'm ready to go now. Finally got it all dechroned. you had to use heavy-duty oven cleaner, and I really had to really pay attention because it felt a little tacky when I pulled it out. I used it inside of believe it or not, a glass jar. I did it inside my paint booth. Took a rag and covered up the top of the jar and sprayed in there and covered it up for a second and run my fans. But I made sure I pulled that out real close. I didn't walk away from it. And it made me a little nervous, but it worked. Took it all off.
Good. Nice. Hey, Mike. Mike, I see you got the 9-volt battery there. It looks like it fits in the chassis. Well, what about when you put the body on top of it? Will it close?
I put pins inside of my stuff when I work on. As you can see, I put needles and pins and stuff, so when I paint it, I can hold it anyways. But here, I'll set this up in there. Like I'll actually set it on top, and you can see. I don't know if that's close enough.
So in other words, you'll be able to close it.
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna try to.
All right.
Worst comes to worst. I mean, there's that it didn't work box.
Okay.
I mean, oh well. I mean, I've had worse happenings.
You can make a high rider instead of a low rider. Stretch the body out a little.
Oh, stretch Batmobile out. Make it into like a limo.
Make it taller so the battery can fit in there.
Oh, jeez.
Boyd, what'd you use in the top of your beacon? You use some of them SMDs, the 0805s?
Yeah, the original ones that Jerry was selling. You know, I don't even. People ask me all the time what number they are and everything. I don't even know. They're just the.
The first ones you
selection of them. And I'll just pick the ones that I like, and these are the real small ones that he first came out with that had the soldered wires on them already.
Right.
I used 3 of them. They were really something to try to get them in there too, to make it, space them evenly, to try to make it look like it's spinning. But
well, I remember you saying that. That's why I wonder if maybe if those even smaller one now would be a little better for that.
Yeah, you might even be able to get 4 of them in there with those and give it an even better kind of a spinning effect.
Because I got just the board. Ralph, I guess you can use. You said it'll run on 9 and 12 volt, right? So if I wanted to change, Boyd used 9 volt because he didn't put the motor in, but mine's got the motor or the
turbine.
The jet engine.
Oh wow, cool. Yeah, like I said, Dave, that board has a built-in regulator, so the micro can always work at 5 volts. So yeah, you're welcome to use 12 volts to power the board.
Okay, well I'll just use one of those like your cardboards. You know what I'm saying? That little 12 volt.
Oh, you mean the battery? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Because that front of that is only little under, was it 5/8, inch and 5/8. Oof. Maybe not. Oof.
5/8.
Yeah. Maybe I can put the battery in the front, or put the pin, or maybe that in. You said inch and 3/4 would be. I could put it in that way, lengthwise.
Yeah, the board. What did I tell you? The board was like 1.6, 1.7 inches long.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. You said inch and 3/4, so.
Well, the width of it is about almost 3/4. The width, almost 3/4.
Oh, wide, like.
The width of it is almost 3/4. It's 0.7.
Like that way. I thought you meant like that way.
Well, it all depends how you want to look at it. The long way is the length for me.
Yeah.
And the short way is the width. So it all depends how you want to do it.
Still, I don't. Either way, I'd have.
Either way, it's going to be 0.7 by 1.6. Either way,
I can still put that coin battery up there. I'd like to use a coin battery, make it a little simpler.
All right. If you want to use
the turbine effect or the flame effect that I did on the back of mine, it didn't have anything to do with the board either. That's separate. I put a constant on amber LED, and then I put a flickering blue LED with it to make it give it a blue and amber, like a flame looks. And I had the blue flickering. and that just runs off the power. It's not hooked up to the board at all.
Right.
One question, Boyd, I wanted to ask you. You said you mentioned that I might have watched the video or something. You mentioned that you sent an item to George Barris and he signed it for you.
Yeah. Well, no. What it was, Mike, is on his website he was selling that Munster's 2-pack, the collector's tin.
Yeah, I got that.
That comes with both of the Munster's cars, and I had told my wife something about wanting. She asked me what I wanted for Christmas that year, and I said, "Hey, I'd like to have that kit," and I showed her a link to it on Amazon. Well, I guess when she did a search for it or whatever, she found George Barris's website, and he was selling the same kit there, and for only $5 more than what they were selling it at Amazon, he would autograph it. So she bought it from him instead.
You think if I emailed him and asked him, and sent it in, you think he would do it?
Oh, I bet he would. Yeah, he's a really nice guy. I know he would do that, Mike.
You realize that this kit I bought with the tin came with a poster, and I was going to get it framed. I'd like to see if he would autograph that too. I mean, I paid for it.
It never hurts to ask. I would email him and ask him. Yeah, I'm sure he'll do that. He might charge you a couple bucks for it, but what the heck,
No, that's nothing. Tom Daniels does it too.
Yeah, that would be cool.
He actually asked if you wanted it on the cellophane or the box, but I don't know.
And that's a nice touch. I thought that was nice because when I got it, he had, they took the cellophane off and he autographed the tin itself. So, because that plastic will wear out over time and fall off. And
oh, you bet.
So that was nice.
You know how that cellophane is, in about 3 years' time, it turns into like peanut brittle.
Yeah. Gets all dirty and everything. Okay, guys. Well, I'm gonna show you real quick here because we're starting to get a little bit close on time. I'm just gonna show you the work we've been doing on here. I wanted to demo Ralph's board here for you real quick. Let me switch cameras. There we go. Can you guys see this? Did it switch for you?
Yep.
Okay. Well, first here is this. I really like this thing after I finished working on it. This is the Atreides trading frigate, they call this, from the movie Dune. And this is a nice little resin kit that was put out by a company called Hunk of Junk Models. And my client, he wanted this done to where there wasn't any wires coming out of it. So what I did is I put these contacts here on the bottom, and Jerry's going to be working on a base for me, and we'll put the contacts on the top of the base. So when he sets this down on top, he'll get power, and all these lights will light up. It just has some really basic lighting in the windows and stuff, nothing flashing or anything like that. I just use a couple of LED strips, but this low resolution camera doesn't show, but I did a whole lot of weathering on this. If you can see all the gold. Is that gold detail showing up? I painted on it.
Yep.
I used a bunch of these artist chalks because this thing in the movie Dune, they were always on like these planets that had a lot of sand and dirt and stuff like that. So there's like kind of a red oxide colored dust on it here and there, and we had a lot of fun putting this together. It's a really nice detailed model kit. When I first saw it, I was like, well, it's kind of plain looking, but when you paint it and everything, it really brings out, you can see there's a lot of detail on this thing. And it turned out really nice. But let's go fire up our robot here real quick. And
I want to see this.
Again, he's not put together. He's just in his basic raw form here, and he's kind of held together with tape. But let me see if I can get him tilted here just right so you guys can see. I'm getting a lot of glare from the. Let me go turn off the shop background light here, guys, and we'll get a little bit better look. It'll take me just a second.
Ralph, I can tell I'm going to want one.
I got to get one for myself. I don't have a robot. I had to ship it back to Boyd.
Is that just a normal B9 robot, is it? From Mobius?
Okay, it looks like it's showing up a little bit better now. Can you guys see it a little bit better?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I really like this effect he's got right here on the front with these random lights. And what Ralph did here is this kit comes with its own, you know, little panel of clear lights there. But what he's actually done here is these are real LEDs that he's got, miniature LEDs that are sitting right in the sockets, and it really gives a nice look to it. And he's got them toned down. You know, these cameras always overexpose everything, but he's got them toned down to where they're like perfectly in scale, like the real robot used to look. They're not too bright. And we haven't painted these panels here yet, but you know, these all have to be done in the Tamiya transparency. You know, you got your different green and amber and red and all that. But up here in the top, you can see the brain, all the different stuff he's got going on in there.
That is so tough.
Yeah, it's really cool. And let me play a couple of the sounds, and you'll see the chest thing. I'm going to set my microphone down close to it here so you can hear it.
I'm so excited. I'm glad I got one of those.
All right, I'll hit a couple of these voices for you.
Oh.
Are you guys able to hear it?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got this chest thing synchronized perfect with this thing. I mean, it's spot on.
That is too cool.
Come on, we all wanted one of these when we were a kid, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
I just finished watching the new Lost in Space movie with when Will went into the future or was going back into the past, whatever, with the new ship. Unfortunately, the video did not translate well on this end as far as the delay. But what are you gonna do?
They when that toy came out a long time ago, I always wanted one and I never got it.
Yeah, me too. Who actually builds that V9?
Okay, so I'll just show you real quick. You guys can see the size of the. Let me unplug this so I don't short anything out here. I don't want to screw up. But you guys can see the size of the boards here. The soundboard being this one with the speaker attached onto it. And then you've got your light control board here at the top, which is, if you look inside, there's a ton of room in this model. I mean, you've got all kinds of room to put this electronics in there. You've even got, you know, the lower half of them here, which has even got more space in it. So, no problem with fitting everything in there.
Hey, Boyd, I just want to let you know, I don't think we touched base on this. That board that's going inside the robot, the control board, that kind of looks like our combo boards. The robot is actually going to use the new generation combo boards, which actually has reverse polarity protection. What that means is if you guys mess up and put minus to power up the board where plus belongs, you guys in the old board, you'd wipe them out. You'd wipe out the regulator or you'd wipe out the microprocessor and you say, hey Ralph, sorry, I switched something and I blew it up. So this board has actually a diode in series. So if you do accidentally reverse the voltage, nothing bad will happen. Just the board will not work. So.
Oh, I can't fry anymore.
Sorry, you just have to bake. You can't fry.
Boyd, there's several of those robots about the B9. Which one is it that kit for? Which of the B9 robot is it? Or who makes that kit?
Mobius, the new Mobius kit.
The Mobius one.
Yeah, the same one that John had in the background there.
The 1/6 scale.
Guy here.
Yeah. I thought as much. Yeah.
He's about maybe a little over a foot tall when he's done.
13 inches.
Nice scale, everything. All we needed to get you to do, Ralph, is make us a nice board for this guy here. He's a little smaller, but I would love to have the same exact setup for this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, send them to me. What can I tell you?
Okay. I'll do that.
Ralph, I'll buy one of those boards. That's an awesome board.
This one here, Ralph, I mean, when I build this one, it's got the base with it, so the board, it won't be any problem to fit it in the base. Maybe like put the soundboard in the base so the sound can come out the bottom, and then put the light part up in the top or something. But
yeah, sure.
Yeah, this
I'm
is.
kind of mad they quit you know, they ran out of them because they have the one with the girl now. You can't hardly find them. Now those things are running like $60, $70 on eBay.
Yeah.
Oh my!
But Ralph, this robot here,
where are you going to put the board for the sound for that bigger robot?
probably in the legs.
Yeah, and then sit him on a base.
Now Ralph's got the speaker kind of close, but I might extend the wires and put the speaker in the bottom and cut a couple holes so the sound is going to come out the bottom like real clear. It won't, it won't sound a little bit muffled when it's inside the robot.
Yeah,
I'm probably going to do that.
Yeah, what I did with that board, I just gave you the soundboard the way anybody that buys that system would receive it.
I can
so
extend those wires.
You can cut the wires and extend them. Yes.
Yeah. Now, Ralph, I was going to say this robot here is like even more popular and well known than the B9 is. This is like the I guess if you want to call it
Robbie.
that. Yeah, from Forbidden.
God, I sold mine for $10.
I bought that one because I didn't want the one with the girl. I thought, why have the girl in front blocking all of his lighting and everything? I wanted to see the whole front and everything. So I bought that one at the hobby store like a year ago.
Well, that's like Jerry said. It's from the same mold. Why didn't they make it you can build it either way, with the girl or without the girl? But they changed the hands, the legs. It's a little different, so you have to use the girl is what it is. But it'd been nice if you could have built it either way, because they make a resin kit now on that Fantasy Modeler or whatever with all the resin kits. They make that car he comes in, and you use that kit to put him in the car.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I was like, wow, I wish I could find another one.
The Robbie car, yeah. All right, guys. Well, we've gone over by a little bit here on our time, so it's time to start wrapping things up. Does anybody have any closing comments or anything they want to talk about, or any final questions?
They make a Robbie and Glow in the Dark now, but it's the new one with the girl.
Ah, okay.
No, I don't. I pretty much got everything I needed.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, everybody. Well, we enjoyed having you all on with us today. I appreciate you guys being here, like always, sharing your wonderful model builds and helping out with answering questions to everybody on the that's been here today. And we've got we'll be back again next week at the same time. It looks like our 2 o'clock on Sundays is going to work out pretty good for everybody. I know a couple of the regular guys mentioned that they were going to have a tougher time on Sunday, but we've got to kind of compromise somewhere, guys. I'm sorry we can't seem to. During the week is not good for everybody in the UK, and the evenings here in the US it's like the middle of the morning for you guys over there. So we'll just see how this goes for a little while, and we'll I think we're going to be back next week at the same time. And I just want to say thank you for coming, and everybody that wrote in the comments and questions today. Appreciate that too. So we'll see you next week, everybody. Take care, build some models out there, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Good night.
Hey,
Take care.
have a good one.